Naruto 667. I like Sugetsu's. Are you trying to become Sasuto? I love that line. Anyway, we start off with Kabuto with his snake-like appendage in Sasuke. Now that is shocking. Now that Kabuto is there, it was, as I said in my other review, as I've said in the Hangouts, it's the most logical choice, but it is also the most boring choice. Okay? Makes the most sense, but it's just boring. And there's been, why all the build-up? There should have been no build-up. If we really wanted to make it a surprise, okay, because we already kind of expected this, just do it. Just have it in a chapter. Start this out. Just have this chapter exactly the way it was without the build-up before. Okay? And let's get, there's a lot I like and don't like. Let's just focus on the Kabuto stuff, because even in that, there's a lot I like and don't like. What I don't like, remember what was really hinging the whole thing was Karen. Karen, what was it she didn't like? Now the translation that I've read is because she sensed her own chakra in there, so it was evil. So in other words, Kishimoto just did it, is what he did. He just did this to build it up, and that was really the only thing. It can't be, because Karen senses evil. Okay, and we find out, and she's like, well, okay. So anyway, past that. Now what? I actually like quite a few things. If it wouldn't have been for the Karen thing, minus the Karen thing, minus all the build-up, this is actually the Kabuto thing I actually really like, because he actually knows that Orochimaru was using it. Okay, that's awesome. He's come to terms with that. This is awesome stuff for him. And the whole thing about the family, and they didn't do the big flashbacks. They just showed just enough. Okay, that he wants to be. He's gone back to what he was before he became manipulated. He wants to be like his stepmother. He wants to be a healer. He wants to go out and do what he can do. Okay, and of course, getting back to the whole reason it makes the most sense for Kabuto is because he's an awesome healer, and he's, of course. How do you save somebody if you can't really save them any other way? Use Senjutsu DNA, which he has, which he starts off with. There's a whole bunch of little small explanations for things and all that. I'm not going to get into all of it, but we can talk about that later in the Hangout if you want. But there's a lot in there. So I actually really like that. That I like. The whole thing about Itachi's concern for Sasuke kind of spread on me. I don't know. Whatever. Like I say, this is a mixed bag, but there's a lot of good stuff in the Kabuto thing, which is the way it handled, which I've already explained. Okay, and then there's a whole lot of how to, Kakashi, you said Kamui, because he could spam it now, evidently. That's a problem. I wish there would have been another explanation for that. But there was like trying to fill in a lot of blanks in this chapter. There's a lot of little things. Well, why is this? Why is that? And then let's just go to the end. The whole thing with Guy. Well, we had to use this. Senjutsu, or we got to use Taijutsu, and I wish we had, the best Taijutsu user around, he just happens to be here, Guy. So, but this was kind of weird. The tools have to become, you would think that they have to be used for something. I'm confused the way this is playing out. Now, Tintin had to check something. Is Tintin going to, okay, So hopefully she's doing something as far as the ninja tools or whatever. I was hoping. Well, I'm hoping for more exciting stuff, like a thing, somebody else except Kabuto. But anyway, it makes the most logical stuff. So we're going on. So Kishimoto just made up some stuff to make it more mysterious. All right, so looks like Guy is going to die, and there's parallels. I actually really liked the thing with Obito, right? And Kabuto, because they were both used and manipulated by other people, okay, to do the evil, okay, and they were the main drivers of starting the war, but now they both flipped. So I thought that was, whether you think that's right, they did that. They both did do that, and it showed at Kishimoto's, like page by page. This is what they did, and that's the backup behind it. So they had very similar stories. So that was, in that respect, they do. So I thought that was actually pretty good. But anyway, and both, Guy and Rock Lee are there. 8 gates. Now, Madara's whole thing, he's still super arrogant. And he's like, well, if you don't use a red mist, you're not going to be able to kill me. And it's like, well, why don't you just Obito isn't there anymore, and this is what I don't understand about Madara. He's like, well, you're pebbles, you can't hurt me, but he was holding back because Obito was there, and he didn't want to destroy his eye. Why doesn't he just wipe these guys out? I don't understand why Madara just doesn't kill these guys. I really don't understand that. Or just like take Kakashi hostage and take me to the alternate dimension so I can kill, so I can get my eye from Obito and kill him. I don't. The series of events, the arrogance of Madara, is being used as something to prolong this is kind of weak in my opinion. But anyway, there was a lot of other things. There's a lot of little things in there. It's an interesting chapter. It feels rushed. Whatever project Kishimoto ever does next or whatever, please give this guy enough time so that he can actually work some of these things out. Because I really like him. He's a genius, but anybody rushed at a speed that they can't work properly, which is, especially that interview. If anybody hasn't read the interview or whatever, that last interview, the guy's even been on his honeymoon. Anyway, we're going to close this out. Of course, we're going to do a hangout on it. We're going to talk about it. There's a lot to talk about, and especially, and some people, I think you just. How many people are pissed because of the whole BS Karen thing? I mean, that's my question. Okay, because it has to be Kabuto, but it can't be because of this one little thing that Kishimoto's made up. Anyway, I'm gonna close this out. All right, all right. It was a good chapter, but there's just some stuff in there. Anyway, I've already said I don't like him being rushed. I don't, this could have been a lot more solid, handled differently. It's like a lot of things. All right, now I don't want to get into another rant. I gotta quit. All right. All right. Anybody can be an anime fan. Until next time, take care.